get a sense of how to use the breakout rooms. We're going to test out some polls that you can use with your students, some Q&A that you can use with your students too. And I'll show you how you're going to get automatic reports in a folder that's automatically created in your Google Drive to make it super easy to find. And just to start off, these are options that are available now, okay? So I know some of us have been really waiting for Google, for the Google groups to, breakout groups to finally arrive. And I know that there are, you know, often things that we sit there and we think, well, I wish this tool would do this, or I wish this tool had the capability of doing that. So what Google's trying to do is they're making some changes to try to embed things so that we can use, you know, a single space, a single platform for, you know, our online learning, to make it a little bit easier to do some of these things. So these are suggestions. I don't have all the answers to how this works because I just started practicing it with it myself about 36 hours ago-ish. So I am still learning it too. You might have some questions about things that I can't answer, but I'm going to try. And also keep in mind that Google is making changes slowly. So these were, the changes were made, but they released them slowly to different users throughout the country, throughout the world. So not everybody got them at the same time. When we were confident that pretty much everybody had these tools, that's when we really got the chance to use them, and then we're able to offer this today. So I apologize for the late notice, but I'm so happy that you guys are here to check this out with us. I'm super excited about it. The other thing to keep in mind is that since Google is making changes, you know, you may have noticed and will continue to notice that things are a little different from, you know, from day to day sometimes. So we just go with the flow, and you know, and try to enjoy the ride the best we can. So I'm going to share my screen with you right now, and I'm going to show you what new features we have available. Okay, so like I was saying, up here in the corner, this is called your activities button. And yesterday it didn't have a name when I hovered over it. So I'm happy it does now. I was like the triangle, the circle, and the square, which was a puzzle piece the other day. And now it looks like this. So those are your activities. That's where you're going to find your breakout rooms, the poll option, and the Q&A. So first, what I'd like to do is show you around the breakout rooms so that you can see what it looks like to be a participant in the breakout room, but then I'm going to join the breakout rooms that we create, and I'm going to show you what it looks like from the teacher's perspective. Okay, so I'm going to click on breakout rooms. Okay, and what you'll notice here is that everybody is listed, even the people that had been in the previous session, because I used the same Meet link. So let's just clear that out right now. And let me go back here, and I'm going to start over again. Okay, what we're seeing here, because I use the same Meet link, you won't have this if you're using a different Meet link for each classroom. So let's say, for example, you have a class for your first period, and then you have another Google Classroom for your third period, and you're using those Meet links. You're not going to see the same students in those in the Meet. You're only going to see the students that were invited to it. But because I made the one Google Meet for the previous session and this session, that's why you're seeing the individuals that had been in before. And if I hover over it, you can see that they're disconnected. Okay. Again, you're only going to see the students that are in your Google Classroom for that particular Meet. So what happens here is that we have the ability to create a number of different rooms. So we can create as many rooms as we want to. I'm going to keep it nice and easy, and I suggest you do too as you start to get used to it. is to be able to just use a few classrooms, 2 to 3 tops, just to get your feet wet, just to get used to it. When we're trying to use any new technology tool, we really want to make sure that we are being kind to ourselves and taking it nice and slow. Okay, so I'm just going to remove some of these users, and I'm going to again keep these 3 classrooms. Now, when you first open it up, it'll say breakout 1, breakout 2, and so on. You can call this whatever you want just by deleting the name that's there. So I'm going to call this, this is my red group. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. I'm a newbie here at this. So one thing that you want to remember, which I just didn't, is that every time you go to start a breakout group, it mutes you as the host. So you're going to see that each time you go into a breakout group or you select a group, it's going to mute you. So you have to be mindful of that. So thank you for letting me know. So I'm just going to recap a little bit. I'm keeping this at those 3 rooms because I don't want to overwhelm myself, and I can change the names of the groups to whatever I want it to be, but just know that it's not going to give you a space in between those 2 words. Okay, so I might just want to call this red instead of red group. Okay, whatever is going to be a nice way to identify the groups that you've created so that students can navigate in between, so that they know which group that they belong to. Okay, so I have my red, blue, and green group. All right, so I've named my 3 different groups, and what you'll notice here is this is the main room. Okay, right now we're technically all in the main room together. That's our initial meeting space for the Google Meet. But as individuals come in and I choose the number of rooms, then it's going to automatically split up the students or the participants in the meet to go into one of those breakout groups. So I can drag and drop anyone from the main room into a group and drop them in and add them based on who I want to be in which group. Or I could simply just choose shuffle, and all of the students will be distributed evenly among each group. Okay, so you can then choose to move students in and out. So let's say I want Mary Carmen to be in the blue group and I want Charlene to be into the red group. I'm just clicking and dragging, okay, and moving them around. And I can see that now, right now, I'm in the main room with all of you. Whitney joined us, so I'm going to put her in a group too. And just to make kind of even it out, I'll put in the green group. There we go.
That's a lot better than me.
There we go. Patty, you're going to be in the red group. Okay, so as individuals join us, then you're going to take them and add them into those groups. So everyone starts in the main room. Now what I'd like to do is, let's say I wanted to clear this. I'm not happy with the groups that I created and I just want to clear it all and start over again from scratch. I hit clear and now everybody's in the main room again. Okay, so I can randomize and shuffle it again. Let's put everybody in one of those 3 rooms. I click shuffle, everybody's in a room, and it maintained the names that I created for each of those groups. Okay. One thing to notice here is that we have the number of total participants within that group. And we also have the ability to remove a group by clicking the X, or we can just decrease or increase the number of rooms that we have. All right. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to choose create. Once I select that, you will be magically whisked away into one of your breakout spaces. Okay, that's where you will have conversations with one another until I arrive about how might you use this, how might it be helpful, what questions do you have, what do you want to know about these tools, and I'm going to enter into each session, each breakout group, and I'm going to speak to you about what it looks like from the teacher's perspective. I'll share my screen with you so that you can see that. Okay, one thing to keep in mind as the teacher is that you will not be able to see all of the rooms at once. Even if you use two separate computers. I tried it, doesn't work right now because it's logged in as you as the user. So whatever room you're in, no matter what device you're on, that's the breakout room you're in. Think about it as if you're working with small groups around the classroom or you're working with a center. Okay, you have some visibility of what's happening, but you're in the conversation with that small group at that time. Okay, so it's no different from being really engaged with one small group here, and students are independently working in another space. It just happens to be virtual. All right, so just keep that in mind as we go. You can't have eyes everywhere. Jennifer, I have a question.
Just before, I just want a clarification. The kids who are in the classroom are also in these meets, so there's multiple kids on the same Google Meet in the room.
So yes, so your Google Classroom, let's say for your period 5, let's say you have 20 students in period 5. Once you start the meet, all of the kids that log into that Google Meet will be visible here, and you will be able to then break them up into small groups.
Okay. We haven't done kids in the classroom in the meet because of feedback issues. But we're okay with that now? It should be better?
No, so that's still going to be the case. So there will always be feedback issues whenever you're in the same physical space and also on the meet. So the way around that is to have all students muted and the student who is speaking is unmuted at that time, and that will avoid feedback. So it takes a little while for students to get used to it, but as they use it in different classes, they start to get more familiar with it. And so I think the best thing to do is, especially because you're going to want to have, for the teachers that have some students in person and some students at home as well, we want those students to always feel like they're part of the same class. They're part of the same group. So we would want to put students into breakout rooms. Maybe there might be 2 students that are physically in front of us and 2 students that are home, but they're going to be in the same breakout group together. The students that are just sitting near each other in the classroom would just need to be mindful of who's muted, who's speaking, and and those are great things for kids to get used to, because those are just generic human courtesies in the online space that they definitely need to learn in order to navigate throughout the rest of their lives. So that was a great question. What I'd like to do is just break you into your groups now. So what you're going to see is once I click create down here, it's going to whisk you away into your space, and it's going to ask you to join that space. So you want to join it, and then I'm going to come into the rooms and talk to you a little bit. And then I want to kind of bring all of the questions back to the larger group so we can ask questions together then, so that everybody can hear those answers. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to click create, and I'll see you in your groups. Okay. Now, I'm starting to share my screen with you because I want you to see that you need to have a little bit of patience as students transition back and forth between the breakout rooms, because they have to select to join the room. And so it might, take a couple of seconds before everybody gets back to where you want them to be. Okay. So now that we're in the main meet space, let me just open this up again. And I want you to ask your questions. What questions do you have about the use of breakout rooms and just that tool in general?
So both Doug and Jim Osborne had a question. I'll let Doug go first, and Jim jump in there right after Doug.
I actually researched while we were talking, and I found the answer to mine. I use two computers, which is the school Chromebook, and I have my own personal one. And the new activities buttons weren't showing up on my personal one, and I realized I needed to download the new extension. So now that I know, now that I've done that, everything looks just like what you've been showing.
Okay, thank you. Jen, you have a question?
Yes, please. I just want to confirm, if there's another teacher that has joined our Google Classroom, can he or she help facilitate a group just by joining? Like, we would move them into the group that they need to be in, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So you would put them in the group that they need to be in. And if you can, do a little testing for me, because I haven't been able to recreate this, that if you're in as the teachers, you have the host controls.
Right.
Is that other individual, the other teacher, able to move herself or himself in between the other groups, or is it something that you need to place them in there? That's something you haven't been able to test yet.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you know if I'm able to do that.
Okay.
The other quick question I had was, I know how to make the groups while we're in it, but is there any way to set up groups ahead of time, or you have to have the children in the meet at the time?
So there, Tim joined us for our first session, and he Googled something and he found something online while I was speaking. So I didn't get a chance to check it out yet, but I'm going to test it and then I'll let you guys know, because I definitely see how it can be difficult to try to, create these groups on the fly while students are already engaged, and you want to maximize the use of classroom time. So I completely get it. So 2 quick things that we could do to start out is, number 1, to go and clear everything, because it's going to put your kids in alphabetical order by first name. Might be a little bit easier to find them and put them into groups. That's number 1. Number 2, as you go into the groups, you can type in names and then put them in the group. Might be easier and faster than dragging and dropping. Okay. Those are 2 things. I'm going to check out the article that Tim sent me. But then this is also, a way that we can have students do, an independent do now while we're setting them up in those groups too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Whitney.
Yes, thank you. Dang, did I forget my question? I think I might have forgotten it.
You had asked about moving kids from one group to the next.
No, that was good. No, I forgot. Melissa, I'll have to ask you next time. I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're all learning this together. It's fine. So, and questions are going to come up as you go. So, when you think of it, you just let us know. So this is something that you can do as many times as you want throughout the course of the course. And I know that we had Vanderveer teachers asking me about, I think, like last week, about working with, small groups of students for assessment. So what I would suggest doing is, having the two groups so that you can move the student out to do that assessment, clear everybody out so that you can just have everybody in the one breakout. And then you would be able to just move students into that breakout session to do the assessment. So for right now, my example is I'd be taking Whitney, into the red group to do the assessment or whatever I happen to call that group. And I'm going to work with her while the students are together in that meet, knowing that while I'm working with Whitney doing that assessment, I'm working with Whitney and the other students are in that online space together. All right. But there is, there is some visibility that we have, not to be able to see, but there is some visibility we'll have on the back end. And it really, we have to think about this environment as, similar to being, we're working one-on-one with a student, or, talking to a student in the hallway. The rest of the class is in the class. Sometimes you got to do that. It's okay. Doesn't make you a bad teacher. Doesn't make you, neglectful. It's just something that needs to be done. And we're learning our way through this new environment. So be kind to yourselves as, we think about these things. Rules are different. The rules that you've normally abided by in the classroom are kind of a little bit different now. And that's okay. It really is okay. Whitney.
I remembered.
Okay.
So you told us to come back at 2:45. And then at exactly 2:45, there was a note that came in on my screen that said return. How did you do that?
I fortunately got my words out fast enough to be able to do that by 2:45, and I clicked end breakouts. So that's all I did. I end breakout, and then all of you guys came back in.
Okay,
so,
you didn't set a time. I thought you set a timer or something.
No.
Okay.
I just I got lucky that time that I was able to keep to my timeline.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So that's what the breakout rooms look like. I want to show you a couple of other really cool things that will help you with assessment, attendance, and just taking the temperature of your students. So we're going to do some fun stuff here. And if we have any other breakout questions, we can totally address them at the end. So once again, I'm coming up here to my activities, clicking on that symbol, and let's go to our polls. Okay, so I'm going to find out what you think about some things. We're going to have some questions that I'm going to ask here. And this could be a way that, you can either have students be able to see this or not. So I am going to ask, right. Okay, so here I have my poll that I've just created. You guys can't see this yet as students. You can only see it because I'm sharing my screen with you. So I want to save this, all right? And I can do this at any time. I can make these polls and I can create them at any time. And I believe that if you create a poll, like let's say it's like your exit ticket question that you would normally have, I believe that is going to copy, as long as you're using your Google Meet from your Google Classroom, it will copy from one to the other. Okay, so I think that's the way it's working. I have to test that out a little bit more. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I used the same Meet for my first session, when I came over, I ended it and I came back into this session, my polls were still there. So, and my questions were still there. So we'll test that out a little bit more, but let's do this. Okay. So right now I have the option to show everyone the results, or maybe I just want to see the results myself. Do students have an understanding of this? Do they need clarification? Maybe I want it to be something that everybody could see, or I want it to be just something that I could see to see where students are at. So let's do this. I want you guys to see the results. It's not going to show you individual results, just going to show you overall, and I'm going to launch it. And you should see, if you look up top where the activities icon is, that circle, square, and triangle, you should have a little green dot on that. That's letting you know I have something ready for you. So click on that, go to the poll, and answer your question, please. And if you're not excited, it's okay. I'm not going to get upset. You could be not excited. It's okay.
Melissa, can you set up the poll ahead of time?
I think you can, and that's something that I'm going to test out and let you know. I just have to test it from within Google Classroom.
Okay.
So what I would suggest doing though, and this is a quick workaround for you, is I would go to a new doc, right? And I know I plan my lesson as I'm thinking about my lesson. I know what my questions are going to be. I could have these in my Google Doc ready for me and just copy, come over here and paste it just to make it a little bit faster. Okay.
Okay.
That's a solution if it doesn't work to be able to preload them. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we have yes, no, and I did this one before. I was like, duh, like, how am I not ready for the question? So I'm going to leave that in there just for a little bit of fun. And I'm going to click save. And I am going to launch that one as well. And now we can see that those polls are live. If I wanted to end the poll, I just click end the poll. So if you go back up to your little green dot on the activities icon, you should see your poll pop up. I'm with you on the duh. Like, how could you not be ready for the weekend? Let's do this. Okay. So now we're going to, I can end the poll, and I'm going to show you, because you get some really cool data from this once the meet is over. And I'm going to show you what it looked like from the meet that I did just prior to this one. Okay. So I'm going to skip back to my activities again, just to show you again, close that out, come back here to activities. And now I'm going to the Q&A. Okay. So this is a space for your participants to ask you questions, okay? Now, I want you to ask me questions by going down to the ask question plus sign and ask me anything. And then we're going to take a look at what that looks like from the student perspective, and then what data you can get from this as a teacher. Okay, now, if you have a question that's similar to one that's already posted, please go up and click that like button. And I am going to change this from the oldest first being up at the top, the one that was posted first, to the most popular. Or I could change it to the newest. Oh boy, Karen, I can't even tell you how excited I am about Breakout Rooms. We've been waiting for this for a long time. So, and as long as it works for you guys, I'm happy with it. If it doesn't work, then, you know, we find something else. We just pick up and keep moving. But what you'll see about this is, as popular questions are there, and that students are, maybe you're more vocal students, you're more confident students who are okay with asking questions in these virtual environments, they may ask their question, but then it's the other students that are like, hey, yeah, you know what? I have that question too. I can just like it. And if my teacher sorts it to the most popular, it's moving those most pressing questions up to the top. Anthony, will students get a tutorial on these areas? Yes, I will. I will try to make a video. I'm happy to come in and, you know, and invite me to your meet. I'll meet with your students, and, you know, we can learn about that too. But I also do want to do something in the coming weeks for parents on this, because our parent academies have been pretty successful. Not a huge turnout, but we're also recording them, so hopefully more people will watch them online. So I think that would be helpful for them. So now, as the teacher, I'm like, okay, I answered Karen's question, I answered Anthony's question, and I just click on that check mark. So I know that I've already answered those. So what if the students ask inappropriate questions? So if they've asked an inappropriate question in this place, I would say mark is hidden. Okay, that question is hidden. Students can't see it. I still have a record of it. And then that's a discussion that I will have with that student at a later date, and probably reach out to the parents then, just to let them know what happened, depending on the severity, or have the discussion with the student, hope that resolves it and doesn't need to escalate any further than that.
How do you hide it? You just blank. How do you question hidden? How do you do that?
On the eyeball here. So it has that strike through. When it's not hidden, it's kind of the opposite. Okay, so when it looks just like the regular eye, that means that it is hidden. When it has the strike through, it's visible. Little odd there, but that's how you do it. So you would hide that, and then I'll show you what that looks like to see that it is hidden from students later. Okay. Why use this instead of chat? The reason to use this instead of chat is because the chat doesn't give you data. Okay, the chat is being able to answer questions or ask questions and back and forth and have a discussion, but it's not going to give you any data on the back end. The only way you get chat information is if you record the lesson, and we're not doing that. So, but this is all recorded just by virtue of using the poll and the Q&A feature, and then they give you separate reports, which I will show you in a little bit. Charlene, I get it. I think that may be a concern for younger students in a breakout room. And the parents may, walk in and out of the rooms and observe things. So that's why it is going to be your decision whether or not you want to use a tool like this. And if it's something that you feel you needed, but, at different points in time, but maybe just need, a colleague or somebody else there to kind of monitor one of those other rooms, I'm sure that there would be a way that we would work that out, whether it's another colleague who's able to help out at that time, or I can come in and help out that time. We can work that out if it's something that's a necessity, but we don't want students to be alone, because I definitely can understand that. Aileen, I don't know. So let's stay on with me when we're done. You can share your screen with me, and I can see why. They've been rolling it out slowly to different people. There was no rhyme or reason as to, whether or not it was alphabetical or whatever. But let me check into that with you, and let's see if I can help you with that, define that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Is there a way to hide questions ahead of time so everyone asks an original question? Not that I know of. I would then, kind of as they come in, monitor it and just hide each one, as quickly as you can, as long as you're not sharing your screen. Because remember, if you're sharing your screen and you're sharing the whole thing, they're seeing all of this anyway. So even if I hide this, but I'm sharing my screen, they can see that as well. So you want to be mindful of that too. Students with connectivity issues, will the breakout rooms be a stress on their Wi-Fi? So that's a great question too. And what we suggest for students is make sure that you have your other tabs closed, and make sure that they're not on, they don't have other applications and things open. Always a good idea to reboot your your Chromebook each day or every other day. It shouldn't have more of a strain on their bandwidth, because they're in that breakout room at that time. They're not necessarily involved in two spaces at a time, but we'll see. It's something that remains to be seen. We have, for the students that are at home, we did apply the Wi-Fi capability to them through their Chromebooks. For students that are in school and for us as well, we are looking to increase our bandwidth just because we're kind of at 75% right now, and we're not comfortable with that, with the remaining 25% being enough moving forward. So we're looking into that so that it should not be an issue. But if it is, there are questions to troubleshoot that we can go over. Where are they in the home? Are they close to their router? Do they have a lot of, other tabs open? And if it becomes more of an issue, you could put in a ticket. If you tell us what meet that student was in at that time, we can see data like how hard their CPUs were working on their computer, and we can kind of tell whether or not it's a Wi-Fi issue, or if it's a computer issue. We can't really tell if it's a home Wi-Fi issue. Okay, Charlene, yes.
Just quickly, are students also getting these features like sporadically, like in different, because I'm just wondering if we do a breakout room and every kid doesn't have that on their device yet, will they still be able to do it?
So the student, so if they did not have the ability to do that, because they're not going to see.
They do see the shapes. They told me they saw them.
They see, yeah. I think honestly, I think every student has access to it because we did test it the other day with our test account students. But if for some reason a student doesn't see it, it might be that they haven't restarted their Chromebook and they're not on the latest version of Chrome. So the Chrome OS might need to be updated, and that might be why they don't see it. So
is there a way to push out so that kids just restart their devices?
We can, and we just talked about that the other day. It's just a matter of when it being convenient for the building, for us to kind of do something like that. So we're looking into that a little bit further. I'll have some information on that more so next week.
Okay, thanks. Because I know securely doesn't work for some kids who haven't restarted either.
Yes, and that is what I put out into the Google Classroom yesterday, is that students have to log out of their account, remove their user, and then log back in order for them to be seen on securely. So have the students do that if you're having any problems seeing them. So those are two of those options. You're welcome. So let's go back. I know we have about 7 minutes left, so I want to be mindful of your time. So I'm going to close out these the Q&A. I want to show you now what data you can get, because this is pretty powerful stuff. Soon as you're done with the Google Meet, what's going to happen is it takes a couple minutes, but you are going to get an email. Where is it? Okay. So I ended at 2 o'clock exactly. At 2:06, I received this email. It was the recordings of the Google Meet features. I'm sorry, no, this is the PD that I did. Oh, this is this is the recording of the actual video. There we go. Remember the words, Melissa. And this here is this is giving me the ability to see the chat features because I recorded it. You probably haven't seen that because you're not recording your own sessions. But let me go back here and type in, where was this one here? Okay, this is what I want to show you, what the Meet options will be. So here we can see that we have 2 spaces that are automatically created within Google for us. Okay, whenever we record Meet, we're going to have a folder that's automatically created for us with all of our Meet recordings, and Google will also give you meeting reports, a folder right within your Google Drive that will show you all the reports from all your separate meetings. Okay, so right now we can see I have meeting reports from these different meetings that I did. And this one I just happened to rename because I didn't name it ahead of time. This one had been named in my Google Calendar, so it gave me that, that name already. Otherwise, it's going to give you one of those random codes. So let's see what it looks like within here. Okay. Within that Google Drive folder for that particular meet, you have two reports. So you're going to see the polling results. And this is going to show you the polling results from a meet that I did a while ago, the other day, because since I haven't officially ended this meet, because I've been on it since 1 o'clock, basically, I'm not going to get those reports until I'm totally finished with this meet. All right, so here you can see the student's name, the question that I asked them, and their responses. And this is going to give you the tab with all of the polls. So this is everything that was asked. And then it will give you, it'll break down individually of each question. Okay. Now, why might this be helpful to see it broken down by question rather than all of them together? It may or may not. But you can tell then how, when students did submit their answer. So, if it's visible and they're kind of lagging to kind of get the cues from other students, then, you might want to, that might be helpful to you. It might not. The other option that they're going to give you are the questions. Now, I love this, and this is why it's going to be more helpful to you to have students ask questions in this format as opposed to just in the chat feature alone. Reason being, it's going to give you the question that the student asked, who asked it, when they asked it, and whether or not it was upvoted. So every single time a student hit that like button or the thumbs up, it was upvoting to show that that was a popular question. And then once I selected that check mark to let me know, so that I was keeping track of before that I answered the question, I clicked that check mark, and then it was shown here. So I can also keep track of for myself whether or not I'm getting to everyone's questions, shows whether or not it's I hid the question by the student. I could also, even if I deleted it and I hit that trash can, it would show that it's cleared here, but students wouldn't be able to see it to answer Sally's question about the inappropriate question that may have been posted and submit or deleted. So they have the ability to delete their own questions, but you're still going to see what was asked, who asked it, when they asked it, and also that they deleted it. And now let me come back here and show you what the email itself looks like. So this is the email that I received on that date when I was done. Here are my polling questions. Like I showed my Q&A questions, my polling questions that I just showed you. Here's the Google Drive folder that it started in. That's where everything's stored, with the exception of this. Okay, this is another thing that a lot of people have been waiting for. Again, attendance is available when you have 5 or more participants in the meet. And what this is going to show you, you click on it, okay? I suggest doing exactly this. So you click on it from the email. Let it open up here as a preview. Choose Open with Google Sheets.
We've been getting these recently. Yeah.
Great. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good. So you're going to be 5 or more. Once that started getting rolled out, you should be getting those. I do have a tip for you that I think might be helpful, and you can choose to use it or not. This is just something that helps me stay organized and not have so many different files. So what I would like to do for this, and I would like to make this my McIntee Social Studies MP1 attendance report. Okay, here I'm going to rename this one. This is let's see, it was 10/7, so I'm just going to delete this. Okay, Okay, and now I want to continue to have one file, one spreadsheet with a bunch of tabs for all the different days so I can just see the attendance and keep track of it here. I'm gonna go to add a sheet. Going back to my email, let's pretend that this is a new email from the next day with the same attendance spreadsheet, but for the next day. I'm going to click here, same thing, click on it, go to open, sorry, not doing that. Sorry. Okay, in this case, for the second day and each day thereafter, I want to add this just to that spreadsheet. I'm going to download it. Okay, now I go back to that attendance for my social studies class and I choose File, Import, Upload, drag it. Now I'm going to come down here to Append to Current Sheet. It's going to put it right in that cell that I have highlighted, A1, import data, paste it right in. Now I hit to rename it. This is now 10/8. And now I have my marking period or trimester data for that one class all in one spreadsheet with tabs instead of having a bunch of different spreadsheets. And those are the new tools for Google Meets, got our breakout rooms, our polls, our Q&A, and our attendance reports for the win. Okay, so I know it's 3:17. You guys got to go. It's Friday. It's a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me. I'm super psyched to see so many of you here. If you have questions, stay on. Yeah.
Melissa, you forgot to tell everybody to invest in Google.
Good one. Thank you. Yes. I should do that too. And I will take that advice. So thank you all for being here. I hope that you enjoy it. Use it if you want. If it doesn't work, let us know. Let us know what other PD you need. Enjoy the weekend, and thank you for being awesome. All right. Bye, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Aileen, I'm still here if you wanted to share.
She left, but I actually have the same problem where I don't see breakout rooms on mine.
Okay, let's do you mind let me stop presenting. Do you mind sharing your screen with me so I can see?
Yeah, just 1 second.
Okay.
So I see it in this Google Meet, but when I create my own, and I've been trying it as we've been talking, I don't see it.
Okay. So how are you creating your meets for your students?
So I just have it through Google Classroom. There's a Meet link. Should I create a new one?
No, that's right. We see it here, but not.
Yeah, so like if I were to, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so if I were to open up this Google Meet, I'm just gonna turn this off so it doesn't. So I don't, because it would be right here, right?
Yeah.
Next to the time.
Yeah. Let's get rid of some of these extensions. So
yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. I wasn't sure because I was trying to do some of the stuff this does before it came out.
Yeah, no, it's fine that you have them. I just want to see if that helps a little bit because I haven't seen this before. So go back into that Meet.
Oh, okay.
So here's what I'm thinking. I want to check something out first. Go down to the 3 horizontal dots in the bottom of your screen. I mean vertical, duh. Go to settings, host controls. Okay. Now hit the X and go back to the people icon to show the users. And click on your host controls there too. View all. Okay, all of that looks fine. One more thing. Click on the time in the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
Okay.
Go to the settings icon. And click on About Chrome OS. I just want to
Where is that?
Yeah.
No, just where is that?
On the left-hand side, all the way down at the bottom, About Chrome
Oh,
OS.
okay. Yeah, I see it now.
Check for updates. All right, it's up to date. So now that we ran through those troubleshooting things, here's what I'm thinking, and then you're going to let me know if I'm right once we're done. So as Google came, what we've noticed is that as Google came out over the past couple of months with different changes, that started to knock out the extensions that we were using in place of waiting for them to launch whatever it was we were waiting for. Happened with Grid extension, and then it happened with a couple of other things too. So I would suggest trying that. Try to remove those things, reboot your device, and then try to see if that resolves it. If it doesn't, let me know, because we have to look into that, because that may also be the same issue that Aileen is having.
Okay. So I think the only which extension? So get rid of this grid view.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Should I get rid of Nod, or is that?
Nod's fine. Nod. I mean, I still have Nod on mine, and it hasn't been making any problems. Let's see. Jitsi just turn off for a bit.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that you need to remove it, but that might be it. Let's okay. Now scroll down and let's see if there's anything else we think might be. No, that should all be okay. All right. So now let's close out that meet, and then let's go back into that one.
Okay. I'm just gonna get out of that.
All right. So
do you think, I know some of this stuff isn't going to every teacher at once. Do we think it just might be more time?
it might be. I really thought that everybody had it, but that might be it, because it's just they've been rolling it out over the course of a few days. So I'll bring it to the team. I'll circle back with you hopefully by Monday. I mean, because hopefully they're going to still keep pushing out these updates. Yeah. And then let's circle back on Monday. We're giving out 9th grade devices all day, and then we're doing 6th and 9th grade drive-through from 12 to 4. So Monday is going to be tough to get in touch with us. And then we're giving out devices again on Tuesday during the day to the high school freshmen. So we'll try our best. I'm not going to have everybody on hand so that we could still answer some tickets, but hoping that it'll be resolved by then. So if it is, just send me a note to let me know either way, so that we can have somebody look into it a little further.
Okay, so send an email if it is resolved by Monday, and then if not, maybe submit a ticket Wednesday.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, thank you for your help, and thank you for the PD.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. I'm happy to be able to do it. It's exciting, but nothing's perfect.
Okay. Well, I have to go, but thank you for your help, and hopefully it works over the weekend.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You're welcome. You too. Hey, do you guys have questions for me? Okay, I'm going to stop recording.